Austro-Hungarian Empire, but in one moment the Leopold I, king of Austro-Hungary, he decides to give this city as the present to the Serbian king. There was no buildings like this in the moment when the Serbian king got the present, and he decides to brought up completely the new city, So why he got the present? Because of the simple reason. In a 200 years of period, Serbian king was participating every battle, every war against the Ottoman Empire on the side of Austro-Hungary. So when they got the city, the Serbian king was actually inviting the Russian king Romanovs, and they helped him tremendously to build the city, because in this moment the Serbian king wasn't wealthy or the rich person. So with the help of the Romanovs, he is starting to build the city. And the first building you can see right now, this is the University of Royal Serbia. And that was the only independent Serbian city during the Ottoman Empire, because the Belgrade was taken for more than 350 years. So, and the churches, the schools, the Serbian language, everything was forbidden. So they were practically organizing the independent life of the Serbian people in this city, So this is the university. Now we will take a look to the second building, which is considered as the most beautiful bishop palace, So this is most beautiful representative of the baroque style, and you can see it's a recently reconstructed, and the main administration of the city. Today it's a restaurant, but historically it was belonging to the mayor of the city Karlovci. And now finally you can see one of the most beautiful monasteries in Serbia with the two towers. Most of the monasteries are with the one tower. This is the St. George Monastery, and the interior is also painted by the famous Serbian painter Paja Jovanović from the 19th century. So in case if you want to visit the interior, you are allowed. This is also neoclassical architecture, and the main architect, the name was Theodor Kračun. He was a Serbian guy, but he was educated in architectural university in Vienna.
Sanafan.
This building, you can see is right there with the balcony and the flowers. This is the Royal Parliament of Serbia. Just in front of us, this is a temple of education. This is how we call this high school. This is like the highest education you can get in Serbia, because in this high school the people are learning Russian, Serbian, English language. And there is one class which is also learning Chinese. Chinese is popular for the last 5 years because we have a government agreement that if somebody is educated and speak Chinese, they can easily find a job in China. So this is why some of the Serbian parents, they decide for their children to learn a Chinese language, you know. And this is in this moment the only school where you can, let's say, have a professional teacher for the Chinese language, you know.
Okay.
It looks very specifically because the Serbian king, he wanted to make this building like a church, but it's a temple of the education. Restaurant from the 17th century. Unfortunately, it's in a bad shape, but you can understand that this is the building from the 17th century.
Yeah.
So the oldest one in the whole city. Now I'm taking you to another monastery, which is also the oldest from the 16th century. So just in front of us, you also have one of the oldest buildings, which was belonging to the mayor of the city. The name is Sremski. But what is the most important story about the mayor of the city? He decides to sell this house in order to invest in the city, you know. And practically he left with one small house which is outside of the Sremski Karlovci. So this house was sold, and because of this investment he was able to invest into the city, you know. So practically all his wealth he gave for the city, you know. Now you can see the oldest tree, 250 years old, and it's under the protection of the government because it was planted by the Serbian king, who was a deliberator of the Serbia from the Ottoman Empire, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they are keeping this platane. This is the name of the, you can see even the Latin name is completely under the preservation of the government of Serbia. Also you can see the oldest monastery in front of us. This is from the 16th century, so it's 400 years old building, you know. There is another thing which I want to tell you about this house. So this is the only house which from the Ottoman architecture, the Turkish original architecture from the 17th century. Why? Because of the simple reason. When Serbian king deliberated the country, he destroyed almost every Turkish buildings and the houses, and even the mosques, you know. So this is the one which stays as the witness of the Turkish wooden architecture from this period, you know.